Many wonder, will we ever have the sixth gear? To be honest, that is far from Oda's plans. The fifth gear is exactly what he wanted to bring to the world of One Piece. A cheerful, quirky character who brings hope to those who look at him. But that doesn't mean Luffy can't have new forms. After all, we still have about 4 arcs to go, and since One Piece is a shonen, it's obvious that there will be a new transformation. That's when I sat down and started analyzing the sun. After a lot of research, I finally discovered what Oda plans. He will create variations of the fifth gear, just like he did with Luffy's fourth gear. These variations are exactly some of the variations that the sun possesses. And man, this theory makes so much sense that I'm betting all my chips that Oda will do the same thing. Let's go. I'm going to explain. Content first, I need to quickly explain what these variations consist of. Think with me. What does Luffy's transformation have to do with the sun? Apparently, nothing, right? But actually, his entire appearance is inspired by the sun. Almost everyone believes the sun is yellow. After all, every single day we see that the sunlight appears yellow. However, the color of the sun is actually white. This happens because when the white light reaches our atmosphere, it gets scattered, making the whole sky look blue, while the sunlight appears to us in a yellowish color. So this is proof that the white color Luffy takes on in his awakened form is entirely consistent with the color of the sun. However, the sun is just another ordinary star among the billions of stars in the universe. Each of them has different colors and temperatures. We have stars that range from red to blue. And the curious thing is that each of them possesses a different strength. It was thinking exactly about this that I developed this theory of the variations of Luffy's fifth gear. The first one is the Red Luffy, with 10% of his fighting power. In this image appearing for you, we can see that among all the stars that exist, red stars are the least hot. A red star, for example, has temperatures between 2,500 and 3,500 degrees Celsius. And how would Luffy fit into this form? Would he be weaker? Well, the answer is yes and no. The fact is that being a star with less power, he would indeed be weaker. However, this transformation would be a great card in the hands of someone smart in battles, like Luffy. We have already seen that the fourth and fifth gears have a ridiculous limit. Luffy can't last even 20 minutes in a fight with these forms, and that's where the Red Luffy would come in, who, with 10% of the powers of Gear 5th, would have much greater durability. He would indeed be much weaker, but in return, he would last longer in battles. This would be extremely useful in fights against the Gorosei, Kaido, and Big Mom, who are known for being quite resilient and durable in combat. This transformation would solve almost all of Luffy's problems, allowing him to be in a form much stronger than his base form, while still being able to fight for good hours without worrying about wear and tear. Moving up the list, Luffy would reach the second variation of the fifth gear, the Yellow Luffy, with 50% of his power. In this form, he would have the power of a star at 5,000 degrees Celsius, although it would still be weaker than the awakened form, having only half the power of the white form. He would be much stronger than in the red form. The big advantage of this transformation is that it would still provide Luffy with greater durability in battles compared to his fully awakened form. It would be an almost perfect balance between the white and red form. The Yellow Luffy would not have those ridiculous limits of the white form and would be much stronger than the red form. The issue is that for very prolonged battles, it wouldn't be very useful, as it would wear Luffy out in about 40 minutes of combat. For example, in the Marineford War, this form wouldn't be very useful, as in such a war, you fight for hours and hours. In other words, Luffy would have to carefully choose the right moment to activate the necessary transformation. Overall, it would only be useful against opponents at the Vice Admiral level, Shichibukai, and some commanders of Yonko, considering it would be almost as strong as the fourth gear. And here we have the White Luffy, Warrior of Liberation, with 100% of his power. Here he has full access to the powers of the sun, with the ability to reach about 10,000 degrees Celsius. He possesses one of the most devastating physical strengths in the entire world of One Piece, being able to jump rope with a dragon that weighs thousands of tons. His active strength is so incredible that his movements resemble those of fairy tales, thanks to his Toon Force, which allows him to do things that go beyond normal physics. The White Warrior has masterful control over the size and density of his body, being able to squeeze down to the ground when necessary and also grow to a colossal size to take down the opponent he is facing. However, as I mentioned, this form comes at a price. Whenever Luffy expends his energy, he takes on an elderly appearance, allowing any enemy to take advantage of this opening to defeat him. However, this form is far from his full strength. Above it, we have the blue Luffy with 200% of the sun's powers. This would be the prime Luffy with the total powers of a star that has between 28,000 and 50,000 degrees Celsius. He would literally have double his power as the White Warrior. His level of strength would be almost cosmic, potentially having an efficiency in his movements of more than 200% compared to his white form. For example, instead of just becoming giant, he could reach a size that far exceeds that of a colossal creature, reaching a height of over 50,000 meters, becoming one of the tallest beings in the entire universe, even taller than Zunisha himself. He could increase his mass and density, crushing his opponents with overwhelming force. Additionally, he could possess cosmic powers, in line with the powers of stars. He would be able to create stellar energy shields to protect himself from enemy attacks, and unleash bursts of cosmic energy from his fists, wreaking havoc on his adversaries. An interesting thing is that in the white 5th gear, all of Luffy's body movements surpass the laws of physics, but the blue Luffy would reach a level of control over cosmic energy that transcends the known limits of physics in his entire environment. He could make anything he wanted a reality, just like the cartoonish things we see out there. With this mastery, he would be able to manipulate not only his own gravity, but also the gravity around him. By increasing his mass and density, Luffy could exert incredible gravitational force, crushing his opponents with the strength of a celestial body. He could concentrate this gravity at specific points, creating intense gravitational fields that would pin his adversaries in place, preventing them from moving or escaping. But here comes the real problem. Luffy would need to be prepared to deal with the collateral effects of this transformation. If in his white form he already faces many side effects, the blue form is even worse. He would need to know the exact moment to use this kind of power, as it would be his last resort against enemies who exceed his capabilities. Perhaps this is the final form in which he would have to sacrifice himself to defeat an opponent stronger than his white form. Out of all these forms, which one do you most want to see Luffy awaken? Comment here so we can see which one is your favorite. And since you're here, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. We're boosting the channel with various One Piece videos, so subscribe and activate the notification bell because you won't regret it. Thank you very much for everything, a big hug, and see you next time.